Welcome all. This is Learn and Do with Pete at March 29th, 2024. And today I wanted to mostly talk about Jenkifiers because we did that really quick last time and I thought it made sense. but actually we had some dangling questions, and then I can go through some stuff a lot slower this time, and we can make some sense of it. I've also had more experience playing with them, so I know a little bit more about Jenkifiers than I did, which is cool. So let me set up my screen. I'm going to make my screen bigger so it looks better when we're sharing. Move the meeting chat over here. There's a weird thing where I think it used to be easier to change your display settings for a Mac, and now it's a little bit harder, and I don't like it, but whatever. Okay. So the other thing is, I hope, one of the things I hope we get to is making a couple Jenkifiers, and I hope we'll do that together. Everybody will do it on their computer. And we'll see how that goes. So this is Learn and Do with Peter.
Hey Pete,
Yes.
you might want to tell some people who are new what you mean by Jenkifiers.
That's a great idea. Danielle,
And
you want to tell people?
well, I only figured it out last time. I could do my best at it. It's
Yeah.
basically mixing two different prompts together with a certain like your own little um I don't even know the word, but it's mixing two prompts together to make a new prompt to make a even more a different type of image, basically a better, more uh, just when you can't come up with something new, basically it's coming up with something new for you by mixing two prompts, right or
Love it.
wrong? Am I okay?
Um,
I did my
I
best.
No, you did great. Thank you. I would, and it's a good point. I actually introduced or I came up with the name Jenkifiers after the last meeting. So I haven't really explained the word very well,
Oh.
even though it's really, really good in my head. So let me actually bring up the page. And afterwards, I kind of realized that guys, what the heck is going on with this? This isn't wrapping. That is really weird. Um, I'm responsible for the CSS that runs this page. So this is really confusing to me why it doesn't work like that. Anyway, let me put this in the chat. And what Danielle was talking about was interleaver, which is a way to take two prompts and you paste them in here. Let me grab some recent prompts. Let me move the Zoom thumbnails over here. Let's see. Copy prompt. Sorely tempting to leave the flags there, but we won't. Mostly because it wouldn't do what we want. And then let's grab another one, like this one. So I can just copy this. I don't have to copy the whole prompt. So then it mixed the two of those together, the warmth soft of, et cetera, et cetera. So then you take this. You'll notice something quick I did. I just double click that and hit Command C, Control C. I could have clicked this button here, copy to clipboard. That would have done the same thing. And it'll become more important why I'm talking about that in a little bit. But then I can go over and make that. And then we'll get kind of a mix of the two images. So so that's actually the first Jenkifier, I'll call it, that I ever wrote. the thing I wanted to do, I wrote that, I originally wrote that same utility. I actually wrote it in Python because I speak Python really well. And actually, I'm kind of lying. ChatGPT wrote it for me. I asked it to write it. But Python is a little bit hard to run. And then I realized that you can do the same thing in an HTML page. So then we came up and we did a couple more. We had reverse Jankifier that we did last time, and the esifier adds ES to the end of each word. If I do paste here, I'll still have that same text. This is the interleave thing, so we're Jankifying a Jankified thing, which is fine. So if we esify this, we'll get ES's, kind of looks like Gollum. So the kind of the news or something, one of the things I lean on a lot with Midjourney is no matter what you give it, it's going to try to make an image out of it. And a lot of times, the less you give it or the more weird stuff that you give it, the better. So here's that old people thing and rhythmic patter rain thing. So it's pretty cool. And we'll see this one in a bit. Let me grab this and paste that in the chat in case it's useful. So the thing that each of those is what I call a Jankifier. The thing that I think is really cool is that you can actually pack a little bit of programming into a web page, and then do cool stuff like change up prompts or other things. And the idea I had was that you can actually have ChatGPT write a web page like that. So the hope that I had was to show people and have people learn how to make. See, this is a lousy explanation here because nobody knows what a self-contained HTML file is or why you care. What this is supposed to say is something like Jankifiers are web pages that do a little something like create and modify prompts for AI. Another thing is that the web pages that I've built so far, or that I've had ChatGPT build for me, really, they look kind of dorky. They're not very fancy looking. Some of them kind of have UI bugs, like that second one, the esifier one you saw. The boxes were really small, but we can kind of get around that. So Jankifiers themselves are kind of janky. And I think that's important to kind of keep that vibe, because the real thing, the thing that I think is really exciting, is anybody on this call can make one of these and then do something cool with prompts or maybe other stuff too. So there you go. Let me go through over here, and I'm going to make a section called Jankifiers, and then let's talk about some of the things around the concept of Jankifying and how to use them, what they are, how to make them. So that's actually a really good set of things. What they are.
And you're going to share that link, right?
Yeah, thanks, RJ. I have to say, I know, well, sometimes I feel bad. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Sometimes I know I have a style and a set of tools that I like to work with, but I have to say, I was in a meeting today where we're like 2 meetings in and we're starting on a 3rd meeting, and we're using Google Docs. And Google Docs is fine to use, but then the pages don't go anywhere, and I don't know. The set of tools that I use here are really they work well, and then they're easy to create artifacts for. Now, the funny thing is I said all that, and I haven't been posting my notes, our notes, to the website very well, but we could. By the way, now that reminds me, if you were in a HackMD session, usually you can go and you don't know the link, you can usually click over to collaborative notes and find all the notes that you've been working, that other people shared that aren't your notes. So anyway, so what they are, how to use them, and how to make them. And we're going to add another topic in here, how computers think of and work with text. Turns out that's really important for the Jenkifiers that we're building. So I kind of want Jenkifiers not to necessarily be janky text, but they could be other things too. So in this page, I wrote, it's called Dollyfire. So this doesn't take text and change it to something. It takes an image prompt here and lets you generate an image with Dolly. And this one was a tiny bit harder than writing the other ones. So I don't know. I would love for people to write things like this, or maybe a combination of things, right? How about if I paste a couple prompts and then I have Dolly generate an image, all from this web page that I mostly wrote, with ChatGPT. I think most of you could say that. Most of you could get a web page like this that you built. So the idea of the Jenkifier turned out to me to be a little self-contained web page that does something cool. And sometimes it's just manipulating text. Sometimes it's, it could call GPT-4. It could call Dolly, do other stuff. And another way to think of it, it's like a really dumb GPT kind of. But the GPT instructions are, I guess you gave it to ChatGPT, and then anyway, it's a little bit like a GPT. It does something cool with your inputs. Okay, so I'll need a little bit of guidance here. Ask questions, like interrupt me or whatever, because I want to make sure that I want to make sure folks can use them. And I realized after the last call, there's a lot of stuff that I kind of just assume and know, especially because I've been working on the web since the web started. So there's a bunch of things that I know about the web that I think are obvious that aren't obvious to most people. And that's so, so you shouldn't feel bad about that. I should feel bad about talking about stuff that I think makes sense, but you have no reason to know because you don't have like 20 years working with the web. So let me stop there real quick. Are there any questions? When I say a web page, hopefully that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense why I was so excited about small and self-contained. So I'll explain that. But how are we doing so far? Am I lose anybody? Anybody got a leading question? All good?
So for clarity, Jenkifiers are ways to work around problem or the jank that we find in our GPTs.
I love that. And I think it's not that. So Anita, right?
Yeah.
Let's edit this page a little bit. And for those of you who've seen this show for a while, you'll know what I'm doing. And for the other folks, don't worry about it too much. This web page is really not helpful, this part of it. I wrote this really quick, you know, like last week, and it's not really useful. So let's go to this web page and let's try to fix this. So Jenkifiers are web pages that do something small. Does that sound reasonable? Or call out if you've got suggestions.
I don't think they're web pages.
What's that?
I don't think they're web pages. I think they're on your web page, but they're tools, right? Or they're processes, or they're, I don't know.
Fair enough.
A tool within a web page.
I think let's stick with this for a little bit. I take your point, Vicky. Thanks. Let's stick with it for a little bit because they're HTML files. So I guess what I'm trying to do here is walk around the fact that they're actually HTML files.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Sorry, technical writer here.
Okay, so let's talk about just web pages for a little bit because this is a key thing. And I really know that you all didn't come here to learn web programming. So that's not where we're going, even though it's going to look like a heck of a lot like it. Like there's going to be like a big sign over the gate, HTML, you know, web programming, enter here. All we need to do is know a little bit about what web programmers do. We're not going to actually do web programming, pretty much. So the other thing is, I think if you grew up in the 90s, or if you had kids in the 90s, either way, kids in the 90s used to do web programming all the time because, I don't know, because the web was new. So if you used to be a kid who would do, and you can still do it today, but you go to pretty much any website. I'm going to go to a crazy website, which is actually, maybe I'll go to Wikipedia. You can do this thing, which now is basic or something like that. You don't do it anymore, but you right click and you say view page source. And then you see the guts of the page. You see all this web programming stuff that some programmer made, which is actually some programmer told the computer how to make this, but whatever. So in the olden days, in 1994, this was so easy. The stuff in here was so easy that literally kids, my 8-year-old was doing web programming. And the way that you do it is you save this and then you do the view source thing, you edit it a little bit and you break it somehow. And you figure out what breaks and what doesn't break when you want to edit the text, right? So someplace in here. Nowadays, so I guess part of the problem is, you know, 20, 30 years later, web programming has gotten so fancy that we don't do this anymore. But anyway, here's, right here is, yeah, I can't even find it. Anyway.
Do Control F, Pete.
Yeah, okay, thanks. And then I have to have Control F to find something. It used to be the web pages were a lot more readable. I skipped down into the text, the table of contents or something like that. This is actually a pretty good example of why people don't do this anymore, and it's totally fine. We're not doing web programming, pretty much. But let's go do the same thing to a Jenkifier. Let me pick interleaver here. And if I do view page source, this is the whole page. It's a lot easier to read. And I have junked this up with what I'll call release things. So it's got some copyright notices, and links to about Jacobfires and stuff like that. That's actually
There is a
optional stuff.
bar separating
What's
the images from.
what's that?
Sorry, that was me. My bad.
No worries. Um, so let me do this a different way too. Another thing that we used to do in the olden days we would do file save page as, and then this is great, interleaver app version 102.html. So if I go to this file on my computer, and then we learned a trick last week. You changed .html to .text, and then load it in Notepad or TextEdit or whatever. Here it is here, right? So let's pretend I'm a 7-year-old kid in 1994 and just mess something up. And then if I save it and then go to this thing and rename this from .txt to .html, check it out. I edited this web page and I didn't die and it wasn't too hard. And it's actually still going to work too, because I was careful to mess up text and not programming stuff. But anyway, so the thing to take away, the thing that I'm trying to get to right here is just Jacobfires are web pages. And a web page can either be really fancy, like Wikipedia, or even fancier. Or it can be pretty simple, and it can be just a text file. I wish I could type something here, so
The
I'll do
script.
that some other time.
What if you call it a script? Because I think so. My idea of a web page is like, I think like your Jankifiers are portable and you can put them anywhere.
Yeah,
So it doesn't have to be like on this, it can be on any web page.
maybe I can call this Jankifiers are text files that are also web pages. So there's the problem there. I'm going to leave it kind of like this for now. Well, thanks, Vicky. Maybe I'll ask for your help a little bit later when we won't be boring everybody else, I think, with
Without pedantics. Yeah.
pedantics. Yes, that was the word I was looking for. I really do appreciate it, by the way. But I'm embarrassed enough that we're talking about technical stuff instead of fun stuff here already. So anyway, so a thing that we learned is Jankifiers are text files and web pages kind of at the same time. And back in 1994, that's all they were. Web pages now are like self-contained little, like actually bigs. And it's funny I said self-contained there. Web pages get to be these big application things, bigger than desktop applications sometimes. And yeah, okay, so maybe I've belabored that point enough. Hopefully you kind of get the idea that it can be just a text file. A web page can be just a text file. So I'm going to make a bullet text files and web pages, and leave a note. How does that work? And the how does that work is things like have to end in .html, stuff like that. So in this how to use them thing, we're going to cover stuff like save to your computer. Are they safe? What does open source mean? So if I didn't know anything about the web, the thing that would scare me a lot is I go to interleaver. Maybe I won't go to this hacked version because I don't know who did that. Let's go to the main one. How do I know that this is safe? Because I've had a bunch of smart technical people. Well, maybe, I don't know if smart is the right word for technical people. I've had a bunch of brainiac technical people who think they're smart. Tell me, hey, by the way, don't put any private personal information ever on a web page. Don't click buttons that you don't know what they do. Don't go to web pages that are messed up somehow. Maybe even they would say things like, if it doesn't look like a professional web page, maybe it's not, and maybe you should stay away from it, right? Go back to a safe place like, you know, Yahoo or Google or something like that. This is what we've taught you to be safe, right? And all of that is pretty good advice. So so I'd like to kind of layer on top of that just a tiny bit of stuff. How do, you know, what's the difference between, how do I know that this isn't spam or virus or anything like that? How do I know that this isn't dangerous? And the kind of the top line thing I want to say is I'm not trying to talk you out of that that inclination to try to be safe. You should definitely make sure that you're safe all the time. And somebody could make a bad Jenkifier that was a worm or a virus or something and stole all of your stuff. So it could happen. So now I'm not going to take notes here, and hopefully we'll pull this out of the recording someday. But a couple things to think about. Let's look at this one that I messed up, actually. I'll tell you what, let's make a new one. That's kind of jumping ahead, but let's make a new one real quick, and because then it'll be more obvious what I'm talking about, I think. I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to say, write an HTML and JavaScript file that takes text input and reverses it letter for letter. Add a copy to clipboard. So I'm probably going to do this. Thanks, RJ. Add a copy to clipboard button. Oops. Add a copy to clipboard button that copies the reversed string into the clipboard when pressed. Something like that. I saw Kyle, actually. Kyle, I was on a meeting with Kyle where he was doing some of this. He was making a GPT, and I'm like, dude, you should know about speech notes. So awesome. Okay, so I was here. Add a, and then I'll, ChatGPT would actually know what to do here even without these quotes, but when pressed. Okay. I'm going fast, so I kind of messed up there a little bit, which is fine. But I'll try to be careful not to. I just learned something is important. I said write an HTML and JavaScript file, and it's like, dude, I'll write you an HTML file and a JavaScript file. Thanks, ChatGPT. Every time I've done this before, I've write a single file with HTML and JavaScript. Okay, this is more what I want. The other one would work, but it's clunkier to drag around two files. So we'll talk about that someday. Another thing I didn't do was to say give it a name. So I picked a name that's not in our Jenkifier kind of naming convention. It's just reverse text. Yeah, that's okay. So now I will try to do this really slow. I did this really fast last week. So I'm going to click copy code. And then I'm going to go to text edit, which comes with every Mac. And what I did was Command N to make a new file. And then I'm going to paste. Let me go through one more step there. I've got a setting which makes it easier, a little bit easier for programmers. Let me switch the setting. Settings. Most people will have this already set to rich text. So you don't have to know about this at all. Okay, but let me do that again. I could do Apple New. I'm going to do File New there. So this is like WordPad in Windows, where it's a little bit fancier. And we don't want to do that. We want to do plain text like Notepad. Or text edit, we can say make plain text. And then I'm going to do Command V, just paste. And this looks the same as I won't go find it, but this looks like the same thing that ChatGPT wrote, because it is. I might want to check that or something. And then I'll say save, Command S, Control S. And I'll call this reverse text.html. And I kind of wish that we didn't have to play this footsie game between .text and .html, and there's different ways to get around it, but let's keep playing this footsie game. As Jankifier experts, you will feel pretty comfortable changing the file extension back and forth between TXT and HTML to get what you want. You want to edit it like a text file, but you want it to load like an HTML file in your browser. So we just play this footsie game.
Or you
So
could just leave it as a .html file, and if you're on Windows, you can just right click on the file whenever you want to edit it, and after
yeah,
you right click on it, say open with Notepad or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that kind of works on the Mac too. Let's make this maybe let's move where we're playing footsie from saving it. So let me don't get that fancy. I want to save this as reverse text.txt. And then I'm going to find it in Finder. I don't even know where it saved it. Probably the documents. Oh my gosh. Let me move this to downloads, which is my slush file for everything. Okay. So now we've got the text file saved here, right? I'll close this. We'll double click it. It's still a text file. Kind of like RJ says, I can right click this and say open with text edit. Even if it's named HTML, I can open it with text edit. I won't do that right now. So now the thing is, if I double click on this, I get text editor Notepad. I don't get my web browser. Yeah. Max, that's also how you rename things. So somehow I've got Finder convinced. Oh, even better. I've got a problem with my mouse or something. Let me power cycle my mouse and try this again. You'll see I'm clicking on these and nothing's happening. I'm pretty sure what happened is I confused Finder. So I'm going to reboot Finder now. Yay. Okay. That's a useful Mac trick, but Okay, so so if I double click this fast enough, it loads it. But I want to load it in my web browser. So let's do the footsie trick here instead of when we first name it. Now I'll double click it there. Ta-da! So A, B, C, D, E, F. I wonder what happens if I click this button. It says F, E, D, C, B, A. It worked. So now I can highlight that and copy it, or let me make sure. I'm gonna copy this so that, and then I'm gonna paste it in here. So this is on the clipboard, A, B, C, D, F. If I click this button, it says it's copied to the clipboard. We'll see. I'm gonna paste it in here and paste again. So it is reversed. I don't know if I went through that too fast or too slow or whatever, but we just wrote a Jenkifier. And because it's fun to use Jenkifiers, let's grab a prompt and go to reverse text and then click the button. And here it is, the forgotten doll lying face down, etc., etc. Copy that to the clipboard. Copy that over here. Copy it over here. Okay. So what we're working through here is Jenkifiers are text files and web pages. So we're pretty good with that? Makes sense, more or less? Any questions? So now to come back to, are they, I'm going to change these notes a little bit. Are they safe? Is maybe the first question you want to ask, right? And there's a couple things. Where is it from? What is the production value? What have I got to lose? Let's kind of work through these, and we might come up with some other ones. Probably you don't really know it, but hopefully nowadays, every time you're using your browser, you've got a little angel that has learned over time what to do when you're looking at a web page, kind of like the little angel when you're driving. You don't think about the angel, but what it's doing is like, huh, this is a new web page I've never seen before. Do my friends use this? Did somebody I trust recommend this, et cetera, et cetera. And then you decide, I'm going to close this window because it's scary. I don't want to get a virus. I'm going to use this thing because it looks valuable, and so on and so forth, right? So let's kind of do that evaluation here, but we'll do it in slow motion. So because I am the one who asked ChatGPT to write this, and then I am the one who saved it, and I am the one who, you know, has edited, and I can even look at it again. Is it still the same thing? Wow. Oh, I wonder if I've messed it up, I think. This will be an interesting lesson on something. I don't know exactly what, but somehow going through everything, I pasted over the HTML file here. So now our Jenkifier is lost to the sands of time. I think on a Mac, well, We can talk about versions and stuff. Let me just delete this one and we'll just recreate it because we know where that that text is. Move to trash. By the way, this is another demonstration kind of a Jankifier, like the kind of we're talking about, is just a file. So I could move it to the trash. I could, you know, recover it from the trash. I can copy and paste back and forth from it and stuff like that. Let's make a new version of it. So the way that we did that, we're going to do the same thing over again. Copy this, go to text edit, Apple N, format plain text, paste, Command S, name it something, reverse text. Mac people don't often, they don't always put the N thing. With this little footsie thing that I want to do, it's probably good to do it. Maybe we can talk about that later if it's confusing anybody. So anyway, now it's back on my computer, and I can name it .html. And then if I double click this, it still works. Okay. So this is a totally new recreated version of it, by the way. So anyway, let's talk about safety. How do I know this is safe? When you go to web pages, and I haven't taught people about this kind of stuff for a long time, so the rules have kind of changed. But up here, like if you double click this enough or something like that, well, you see a little picture. Sometimes you need to see a little lock picture to feel like you're safe. The lock picture is your friend. And I hope I don't sound dismissive or something like that. All the safety stuff is really important. So I guess in the olden days, Chrome used to have a little lock thing, and they've gotten rid of that. Nowadays, if you go to a place that's not doesn't have the lock thing that you used to look for, I happen to know this one is like that. It's not going to load. Anyway, now Chrome kind of yells at you. So Chrome has taught you not to have to worry about this little picture so much. But anyway, if you find this here, this HTTP or HTTPS, and then these things, that means it's coming off of a web server somewhere. And check it out, look how this is different. This says it's a file. You are viewing a local or shared file. So automatically, I know that this didn't come from a server in some other part of the world. It didn't even come from a server in my part of the world. It didn't come from anybody else's computer. It came from either my computer, a local file, or a shared file. I kind of know it's a local file. Local just means it's on your computer. So pretty immediately, no matter how janky this thing looks, I can probably trust it because I'm the person who made it. I still know that it's not on the web someplace. It's not coming from somebody else. It's trustable. Production value on this one is really low. So maybe a scammer built this, except I don't think so because I built it. But if this was saying something like HTTPS, big scary virus download, or even better, something like HTTPS : / and then something that looked like Google, but it had zeros instead of the O's and a 1 instead of the L, and it looked like Google, but it wasn't really Google, then the combination of those two things would definitely scare me away. This is not a professional web page. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not going to trust it. And let me cover one more thing, and then let's chat about all this stuff a little bit. What have I got to lose? What I mean by that is this is something, well, I learned this from a guy named Bruce Schneier, who's a security expert. I didn't learn it from him personally. He literally wrote the books on on how to be safe. And he's got a blog called Schneider on Security. This rule basically descends from one of his rules. What have I got to lose means if I do stuff with this web page, is it trying to scam me? Is it trying to sell me little blue pills? No. It looks like I need to put text in here. If I put text in here, what's going to happen with the text? So this text, I would say, is low value text. Even a prompt that I'm really in love with, maybe we'll say, this Dollface is just scary, but say I really love this prompt. So if I put this prompt in here and click a button, nobody learned anything about me. They didn't get my address. They don't have my credit card number. It's not a password or anything like that. Conversely, if this, if there's a little note here that said something like, put your most recent Amazon order number, or, this said use password or something like that, there's no way I'm going to put my password in here or my credit card number or anything like that, right? Because it doesn't look like a bank. It doesn't look like Amazon. It doesn't have the, the right stuff. So that rule is, what have I got to lose? If somebody finds out that this is a prompt that I really love, I don't have much to lose. So, so there you go. I'm actually going to stop the share a little bit and check in how we're doing. Am I making sense? Going too fast, too slow? We're going a little bit slow here because it's kind of important.
I just had a question. Do you store these in your GitHub, or do you just store them locally?
I have a great answer, except it's skipping ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, it's okay. Stop there.
No. So what I was going to do was like share my screen, answer the question, and get everybody confused about where we are. I'll give you a quick answer, which is fine. It took me a little while to decide which repo to put them in. I was actually going to make a separate repo and be able to share that with everybody. I realized all I need to do is put it in a directory, one folder in the AI 101 website repo. So they are actually version controlled and stuff like that.
I don't know
Okay.
why it. Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know
go
why
ahead.
it just felt like it was hard for me to follow like where because you got it from the notes from the Mac.
Yep.
That's okay. You lost me after that, Pete.
Danielle, thank you so much. Literally, really, thank you.
No.
It's a hard thing to say, right? It's like, Pete, I know you think you're saying something like completely straightforward, but
And I was a teacher, and I feel like, okay, so the way I don't know what you did or do for a living, but it was just
it must not be teaching.
I don't know, what do you do? I mean, but so I was kind of like, okay, so you do it, get there, and wait for everyone to get there. That's how I taught. That's how I learned.
Yeah.
So, okay, now everybody get here, and then okay, everyone's there. Okay, now you do this. Okay, now wait for everyone to do that. And then, so that's why I was like, okay,
What the heck is he doing?
I'm not there yet.
Totally.
Is everybody there
thank
yet?
You. Thank you a lot, Danielle. I appreciate it.
I'm not trying to critique you. I'm just
No,
sharing.
I didn't take it as criticism. Well, I took it as constructive criticism, and it's super valuable. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so show me how you got to the notes thing. I don't even know how you got there.
Do you want to do it on your computer? Would you share your screen?
No, because I have too many tabs open and I'm ashamed of myself.
Okay, so let's do it on my screen, but let's keep you right in sync, okay?
I could do that. I could split. I could minimize this. Yes, I know. Okay, I can.
We did this with Scott. Scott and I did this too. He's like, hell no, Pete, I'm not sharing my screen. I've got stuff on my screen.
I've already got enough harassment from Scott today. I don't need to.
I was just going to chime in and say it worked out fine. It was all good. You should go for it.
My point is, Scott and I did this thing where I shared and he followed along and he kept saying, okay, Pete, I got lost, or okay, Pete, that's great. Keep going. You're going slow. I don't know why you're going so slow. So we did this before, Scott and I. And so now
Okay.
you and I get to do it. So I'll
Okay.
share my screen.
Because I really do want to learn how to make my own and do this. It's
Oh,
just
thank you for that too. I also wonder if this has any meaning at all. I think it's super useful and super valuable.
Well, and that's
So I
the
think it
thing is
is worth it.
that's why I'm here,
That's why
because I
you're
want
here.
to be
Yeah,
able to make my own
right on.
because I
Okay, so
really
let's do
liked
this
what
thing.
you made. Okay. Because yeah, it seemed, yeah. Okay, I'm listening. I'm shutting up now. Go ahead, muting myself for real this time. Scott.
No, you can't mute. You have to tell me.
Why?
Yeah, I did
Okay.
that. Yeah, I
Well,
did that.
okay. Let me minimize my screen a little bit, just a
I
little
think you
bit.
don't really need, well,
No, I
actually you need
do
to see
because I
your
need to be able
screen
to
and you need to see
I
me.
need
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Okay, let me figure out if I can quasi minimize
I could
my
make my
screen.
screen bigger too.
I'm trying to
So
figure out
then
how
when
to
you minimize it, let's try that real quick. I'm gonna make my screen even bigger because I think will help. Because I know you have to see your screen
oh, if
and
I
this
hit,
screen.
I hit escape and then, okay, yeah, I can make my screen smaller now. Okay, it can be taught. Okay, sorry.
Let's
Okay,
see.
now I
This
can,
thing.
oh gosh, I'm
Now you
so
can
glad
look
I
at my
didn't share
stuff
my
again.
screen. So glad I didn't share my
I
screen.
know,
You
right?
guys could
It's
see
scary.
all my files. Oof, Lord. Okay, actually, no, it's not that bad. Okay, go ahead. Now what?
I
Ready.
just want all of your prompting secrets. That's all.
No, that's why I'm here to learn yours. Okay.
Okay, so
So what I like, okay, go.
okay, so you've got ChatGPT or yes or no?
Yeah, I
And
got you.
you're on a Mac or Windows?
I'm on a Mac.
Okay. Okay, so now I've got to do the same thing. I actually maybe let's see. My screen isn't shared now, right? Somehow I got it. Oh, I was
Okay.
changing now my screen is bigger and hopefully easier to see.
So now I need to escape out of your bigger screen. There we go. Okay. Because I need to be able to switch back and forth from my background to be able to. Okay. Just
Yeah.
go,
Okay. So we're
go
gonna
for
go
it.
to ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I'm gonna actually just that prompt worked out just fine. So let's do the same prompt again.
Am I copying what was in the chat?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat
the
again now. Is that okay?
sure,
Or
that'd be
I can
great.
also
Sounds
just
good.
read it to you, or I haven't been looking at pictures, folks. Thanks for making cool pictures. It would be okay to post them and learn and do if you want.
Copy. Okay, so why
Oh, I'm
is
going to
that
do this too. Now that so I'm going to copy it from Zoom and
so I'm
paste it
just
in the
copying
ChatGPT. Write a
I'm just
single
gonna
file
wait,
and
what?
both of those things. The very last
Oh,
thing that I posted.
write a single file. Oh, right, that. Hold on. That's not what I copied. Is it? Oh, yes, I did. Sorry. I'm doing it now, Pete. Forgive me. Yep, there. I thought I was writing a prompt for something. I'm putting it in DALL-E. Why am I doing that? It shouldn't be in DALL-E. It should be in ChatGPT.
Yes.
Here we go. My bad. I thought I was creating an image again. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not trying to take up the whole shebang
Dude,
here.
I do the same thing with Midjourney. I paste stuff into Midjourney.
I'm
Oh, I'm not
sorry.
supposed to paste into Midjourney. I'm supposed to paste into.
Okay, I got it. It's doing its whole thing with the HTML, blah, blah, blah
Okay.
business.
I'll
And
hit
now
return
it's
too.
all the pretty colors of red and blue and whatever. And now,
That's called
okay.
syntax coloring, by the way.
I won't remember that, but thank you.
You don't need to
Just
remember.
kidding. Okay.
Okay, so when you get this kind of black box, it
Copy code.
puts up click copy code.
Got it.
And now find text edit. Do you use text edit on your computer, or maybe you?
That's the part. That's the part
That's
where
right
I
there.
need you to tell
That's where we
me
got
what to
lost.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. So where's that
Um,
at? What do
Before
I
we do
do?
that, let's think through this a little bit.
No, because I'm gonna forget it. Okay,
Well,
sorry, no,
what
go
do
ahead.
you
It's okay.
say you had to edit a note or something like that?
I would do it in Google Docs.
Okay. Okay, so that's a great answer. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to use this ancient utility on Mac. I have a shortcut to my applications thing over here, which is easier, but it's like over here. You'll have this same icon. This one,
And
applications.
I have my application. Okay, I can look under, I have Finder and then I have,
Finder is
what
good
am I
too.
looking for?
Let's do Finder.
What do I search for?
You know,
Search
just
for
use
text edit.
magnifying glass.
edit?
All one word. Yeah.
Oh, I found it. Text
Text
edit. Is it or terminal?
edit.
Text edit? I'm clicking on
Yes,
text edit.
Yeah,
Got
text
it.
edit.
I'm writing this
Super
down.
tempting to go to terminal, but no, let's not do that.
Text edit.
Okay, so you should have a, oops, that's my typo. You should have
It says
a,
it's giving me an option to do new document, show options, cancel.
yeah, do new document. That
Okay.
sounds great. So then Danielle and I think your thing looks like this, by the way, Danielle. It has tab marks and
Yes,
Helvetica
yes.
regular, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
This is the standard way text edit looks, which is great. We want to use the plain text mode. So go up to the format menu and click make plain text.
Whoa, mine doesn't hold it. Mine. Where did you find that?
The top menu bar, format.
Oh, where did that? Mine went away. Let's get it.
Click on text edit again.
Oh. Options.
Or click on text edit down at the bottom of your screen.
And then what? Where would I click on it?
Up at the top, it should
Well,
say
and
text
it
edit.
it took away the whole. Once I clicked on create new document, it made the rest of the box thing go away, and I just have the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
the little thing go.
I think if you,
Is there a
so
drop down?
it looks like that probably.
Hold on.
If you move your mouse all the way to the top,
Mm-hmm.
it should pop down the menu bar thing and it should say text edit, file edit format.
I feel so bad. I'm not trying to take everybody's time here. I'm such a jerk. I feel bad. I don't want to do this. I feel bad. Show more. It doesn't say. No.
So what does your screen look like?
I'll share my screen, Pete.
You don't
I'll
have
just
to.
share the screen. I'll just share the screen. I'll just share the screen. So shameful. Here is the screen.
So unbeknownst to most people, Danielle is actually a black belt in this kind of stuff, and she's just modeling
Oh
the
my
behavior.
gosh. Can you guys see what am I showing
Yeah,
you?
so that looks great. Yeah. So you've got the text edit
No.
window there, right?
Yes, now what?
Go
Can
all
you
the
see
way
my
up to the top
whole?
of your screen, all the way to the top of your screen.
Oh,
Ta-da!
up here.
So I think that's called the menu bar.
Okay, now what?
I think I have mine set so it's always there
Oh, mine just disappears. Oh,
because
should
Apple in
change
its
that.
infinite wisdom thought it was too noisy and wanted to hide it.
Took up too much room. Okay, so what? Go to format.
Yes, format,
Format.
and then make plain text.
Make plain text. Okay. 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 Now copy it. Now Control V.
Yes.
Oh,
Ta-da!
is that now what? Now what? Sorry.
Before
it?
we keep going,
Okay.
somebody's either written it down already in the HackMD, or you or I will have to write it down later. But that make plain text thing is going to be a thing that you have to have in a like a note. I guess you're probably going to end up with a, well, maybe this will be on the instructions page in AI 101 or something like that, or on
Mhm.
your notepad, make plain text somewhere, right?
I'm writing it.
So, okay,
what
so
do I
now
do?
let's save that. Just save it.
How? Like, oh, up here in the invisible bar,
You could do
file
Command
save as.
S or File
Well,
Save As, yeah.
It's called Untitled too. So file save as. What should I
If,
call it? Danielle
well,
Jenkifier?
just do save, and it's going to ask you for,
Save. Uh,
I would call this reverse text or something like that.
oh, reverse
because-
text. Like that. Did I spell it right? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, that's great. And before you click
Oh.
save, that's fine.
What?
There was a checkbox there that said, if you don't have put a file extension, use .txt. So that was actually super useful. So it's great.
What do I? Let me save it again. Then can I do it again? Save
It's
as.
not gonna, yeah. Mac went away from that whole save as thing. They thought that was confusing too.
Ugh. Can I make
Um,
another one?
Yeah, do
I'm
new.
wasting everyone's time.
You're not.
Okay, file
You're
new.
blazing the trail.
Okay, file
And make plain
new,
text. Yeah.
format, make plain text, Control
Yeah.
V, and then save at format. Wait, no, file,
File save or
what-
just Command S. Either way.
Command S,
Yep.
and then
Okay.
just what?
Before you do
Uncheck?
anything, you can type in,
Before I do
yeah,
anything.
no, where that checkbox says if no extension is provided, use .txt.
Uh-huh.
That's actually great that it's checked. I'm
Oh,
surprised that Apple even has it there, but that's what we want.
I think it wasn't already on the other one too?
Yeah, it
Did anyone
was.
see?
I just wanted to
Oh.
say, oh, look how cool it is that it's already checked and everything.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Is that it? Then
You can
are we
cancel
good?
that one and yeah, you can either save it or cancel either way.
I'll save it and I'll have bonus ones now. Okay. Okay, now what? Wait, what should I do?
So what?
I'm taking
Yeah.
everyone's time. I'm so sorry, you guys.
No, you're teaching everybody. It's awesome. You're doing great, Danielle.
Okay.
So now we have to find that file on your computer,
It's right
or
here.
actually in your iCloud, but
Oh, it's called Untitled too. Or what was the other one called? Reverse
it's
text?
called reverse text. Yeah.
Okay. Or Untitled too. So now what? And then what? What? Well, this one's already, well, they're both right here, so
We
what
need to find it in Finder.
find it in Finder. Well, let me move all
And
this
I think it's
bars.
going to be in Documents. So if you want, at this point, we could stop. Yeah, that'll work too. Go for that. Reverse text.
You guys see all my junk. Oh my God. Okay, I don't even, how about I go to recents? There it
Yeah,
is.
there you go.
Okay,
So
and then,
I don't use recents very much. Let's try something. The thing that we want to do isn't going to work in this recents thing. So
Okay.
right click on
iCloud.
that. Does that even make sense to
Right click.
say show an enclosing folder?
Show
So
in enclosing folder.
the thing
Okay.
that we're doing is finding it. We could have found it a bunch of different ways. That was one way to find it. If you
Okay.
had gone to iCloud, you probably could have found it that way too.
Okay.
The other thing is just to note, you haven't ever used TextEdit before, so the Mac kind of helpfully decided to make a folder in your iCloud, I think called probably iCloud Documents, called TextEdit, so you can keep all your amazing and wonderful TextEdit files. So that's great.
That's what mine
Hopefully
went
I
to.
make more. Are you guys playing along too? Please tell me you guys are doing it too, so that I'm not wasting everyone's
I
time.
just need a
Please.
Jankifier. I'm gonna share later.
Oh, good. I hope people are doing
So,
it too. So, I'm not
so
so-
Anita in the chat said, you're asking questions I was too scared to. LOL.
Oh, good. Yay. I'm
You're
not the
leading
only
the
one.
charge, Danielle. You're doing great. Okay, so there's another difference between your computer and mine, which I hope won't cause us too many problems, but um, uh, this is actually also a thing on Windows. In the olden days, everybody saw the ending .txt or .html or whatever, and then somebody said that's too much junk for most people. Let's hide all that stuff. So I have the setting on my computer set to don't hide all that junk because I really like to see it. But you have a more stock computer, which is like hide all that junk. So I think there's a .txt after that reverse text that we just can't see.
It's on the actual document right there. If you can.
Even if it wasn't in the file name, it would be there, I think. So Mac kind of doubles up where that information is. But anyway, let's, so this is the thing that I was calling playing footsie. Let's change this to .html, and then we're gonna have to figure out how to actually do that.
Okay.
So click on, how do you usually change a file name in Finder?
How do I don't know, Pete. You tell me, please. How do I do that?
Uh,
How do I change it?
so
I
there's
mean, like I
two
would click,
ways.
oh, like
Click
change. I would click on it and say rename like that.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah,
What
that's
like
great.
that?
That's the right way to do it, yeah.
What?
So click that.
Okay, and call it what? Footsies. Play foot.
So now like press your right arrow button to get to the end of it. Yeah, that's great too.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
type .html there and see, we'll see what happens. I don't actually know what's gonna happen.
HTML. Enter.
Yep.
Ooh, are you sure you want to change it? Okay, so hit use HTML.
Yep, exactly. Okay, we're like
it's thinking
90%
it did
there.
it. Oh, hey, it went blank though. I don't know
I
what's
think
happening.
that's okay. I could explain why that's happening and that it's okay, but I'll just explain that it's okay.
Okay.
The icon doesn't really mean what it means, kind of.
Okay.
Is the
Oh my
okay,
God, I'm
so are
not
you
gonna.
ready?
Okay,
We're
I'm
gonna open this as a web page, and
okay.
this is where you think, is this safe? Where does it come from? It came from me, so it's safe. Pete told me it was
Okay.
safe, so it's probably safe. I don't know.
It better be. Sorry.
It's safe. So no, it better be. It's
Yeah.
I have complete confidence that it will be. So so double click on that to open it. Yay.
No way.
Way, dude. So now type A, B, C, D or whatever. Type something in, enter text here.
Oh, okay. This anything? Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Type your name, type my name, type computers are dumb. Whatever.
Okay. And then I'll go Pete. Okay.
And
ABCD
then
is changing. Okay.
click reverse text.
Okay. Okay.
And then you see after reverse text, it's got it. So then copy to clipboard.
Okay. Okay.
And then click OK because, yeah. And now you have that text. It's all yours. You can give it to Dolly or Midjourney or email it to your friends or.
I did it. Even it was like pulling teeth. Huh. Poor Pete. Sorry.
I
Look,
thought it was awesome.
it's not gonna make anything.
Dude, is that
Okay.
awesome or not?
It spelled my name wrong. Well, look, it made my name wrong.
So you gave it a prompt and it didn't know what to do with it. So it said, I think that looks like it's reverse text. I'll change it around for her. And look, she misspelled Daniel. I can't believe it.
Can I stop sharing now?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you make an image out of that? How are you going to make an image out of it?
It didn't do anything.
Let me try real quick on my computer.
Okay. I'm so sorry, you guys, for taking all your time.
Danielle, you were awesome. Like literally awesome. Okay, so now it's my turn to look stupid. Not that you look stupid, Danielle. You looked awesome.
No, I didn't take it that way.
I have to find Dolly. I have no idea how to find Dolly. Okay, thankfully I bookmarked this at some point because for a while it was disappeared, right? Don't click PDF Finder, Pete. Click Dolly. You can see how often I use Dolly. I use Dollifier. Okay, so let's, I'm gonna do the same thing that wow, that's scary. I wonder if it's space. I had two file names. I named them slightly differently. Copy to clipboard. Okay, go to Dolly. So more or less the same thing. Your ChatGPT was, I don't know, it likes you better or thinks you're smarter or something. But this is what it did to you.
Mine, yeah, it didn't make mine didn't make one either.
So that's the way I would fix it.
Create an image, but
So I'm glad we're testing this because this completely surprises me. Watch, let's do the Midjourney thing. What do you think Midjourney is going to do with it?
something more
I should
than
put it in turbo.
Pretty
So
sure
a thing that I
Midjourney
rely
flipped
on,
mine.
what was that, Claire?
Oh, I was saying I'm pretty sure that it did. Yeah, Midjourney did what I think it may have done for you.
your
it
Midjourney?
I was.
No, your Midjourney did the same thing. It balked.
Oh, I don't know.
So
I'm
in my
not sure what I'm saying.
experience, I can give Midjourney. So a Claire prompt, a classic Claire prompt is dot. And then let me use.
Oh, that's cool.
Let me use this as a style. So dot as a prompt, and I'm gonna try turbo for the heck of it. So I think Claire, yeah, I think Claire, anything you put in Midjourney is gonna make an image. So Dolly is Mr. Smarty Pants here, and it's like, so one of the things with ChatGPT and Dolly, it does a fair amount of pre-processing. It sees the prompt and then it changes it into like a better prompt. So this, we've run into the making of it a better prompt thing. So let's see what happens when we do this.
Midjourney just gave me the staring eyes.
Staring eyes? Stern eyes?
The staring
But it
blankly.
actually, it did it create an image? Blank staring eyes?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, it created an image of staring eyes for
Maybe
me.
kind of like these, yeah. I've got chaos. I always have chaos at eye. So these are the prompts or the images I got. Let's try this at chaos for 0, and we'll probably get staring eyes too. I'm also hooked on Stylize 1000. I don't know if I recently decided to wonder if that was, isn't that creepy? The little like grommet things.
I
Okay,
really
so
like the gold stuff the glimmery gold stuff that has been in your images a lot lately. That the
thank
little
you.
flicks of that is something that I was like, man, that's not the necessarily those little chunks of whatever are under the eyes right there, but the little gold flecks that are just like specks, and that how they just pop like even in that hand right there. So that I just really love that about the images you make.
Thank you. A lot of those, so my new thing, I've been meaning to post in Leah's 2D generative art thing. My new thing is, I call it style prompt. So you scroll back in your images. This works best with random prompts, which I don't think I have any right now. Actually, I guess I have this one up here. So this is a janky prompt, at least. So a lot of times, and I think this works better. I have my screen is all messed up because this is really, I've got my screen blown up, so everything is weird. But the thing I do nowadays a lot is use style and use prompt. So I guess a good way to do that. If I'm right clicking on this image and then use style and use prompt. And pro tip for Midjourney folks, the use style thing, the style ref is really amazing. You get all kinds of amazing stuff on it. So I do this a ton, and it's super easy to do on the phone too. I was wondering, are people starting to switch over to do people have access to the web version, the alpha, or are people not having access to the alpha yet?
I don't even have Midjourney, Pete.
Well, I'm
One of
sorry.
them. But aren't there
Figure out how to
some
get.
aren't there some Hugging Face type of ways to do some of this stuff? If ways
Yeah, you
around
could do
it?
Hugging Face. You could just do Stable Diffusion.
That's what I mean, like some of the Stable Diffusion type of
Do Stable Diffusion with on Mac. I think Draw Things. I
similar.
really suck. I used to be okay with Stable Diffusion. Now I really suck because
I
anyway,
found some pretty good ones on there.
it's easy. Stable Diffusion is easy and friendly. On the Mac, I recommend Draw Things. On the Mac
Draw
or
Things.
Windows, yeah, Draw Things. It's in the App Store. I think it's actually also on. There's a drawthings.ai. It's
AI.
free. It's a little bit hard to use, but
Okay.
it's not harder than Stable Diffusion in general. So
It's
the
okay.
difficulty in using it is actually Stable Diffusion. Um, the guy who wrote this, he does it in his spare time because it's fun. I think he made his he made his nut with a startup, and now he's just doing this apparently. But it actually runs on the iPad and the iPhone. He built it first on iPad, and then he ported it to Mac. So it works really well on iPad. And then if you're using Stable Diffusion on Windows, there's Automatic 111 and Focus with a bunch of O's, like 3 or 4 O's and a few more. So anyway, we got DALL-E to do it too. So let me try that again. You have to try harder, apparently, with a janky prompt on. Here it is here. But there you go. So in DALL-E, Daniel, you'll probably have to use this, often. Maybe not every time. You could actually write a GPT that has that custom instruction. Take whatever the user gives you and use it as an image prompt. Or you could do, let me take a minute and demo Dollyfire, which I think counts. I think it counts as a Jenkifier, even though it's not transforming stuff. I don't know. We kind of messed up the definition of Jenkifier a little bit. Let me get my password manager, move it to my other screen. I'm looking for an API key. I think this will work. So if I go to Yeah, might as well go to the Jenkifier page. So by the way, the Jenkifier that Danielle just wrote on her computer is about the same quality as any of these. That one's a little special because it's got two things, but so Danielle's thing is just as good as this one. I added a couple things. I added this copyright. I added this open source thing. I added this about link. We can talk about that some other time, but Danielle doesn't need to do any of those things if she's not publishing it. She can just use it. So now Danielle could make another Jenkifier saying instead of reverse the text, do something else, right? So let me find Jenkifiers. And then Dahliafire, which is kind of pre-release. I'm making sure I'm entering something kind of important here, an API key. It's not like I can't delete this API key. I also don't want it to show to you fine folks. So I'm making sure by typing nonsense ASDS, ASDF, ASDF into that. So if I paste my key here, you won't see it. And now I've lost the key. Let me try this again. Save API key. And now let's take this same prompt and give it to the Dahliafire. Generate image. This is pre-release. There's things that aren't quite right about it. One of the big things is I wanted to be able to save the image with this file name prefix. But here you go. I just used DALL-E from the web page that I wrote with ChatGPT.
Wow.
And this download
That's
image
so
button
cool.
doesn't quite do what you want. It pops open another window with the same thing. But I could save this. Came out really good too. That's
Wow.
crazy. I forget quite where we went with that.
That's really cool, Pete.
Let me do view
And
source and
could I ask you about the API keys? You just grabbed them off
oh
of,
yeah, that's API key. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
well, where did you grab it off of? I mean, I know you can't show yours because it's like, you know, your
Let me
private,
let me
or
let me make
just,
one and show you. Because that's a great question. If you want, so depending what API key you want, you go to, the website. I happen to know, I guess I should do this the real way.
I
If I
mean,
go to OpenAI and then click API,
mhm.
I guess, they make this a little bit more confusing than I always get confused when I try to do this. What I need to do is say login. So an API key is, it's kind of like a key card or something like that, that you got from a manufacturer or whatever. And it opens, it's a password for a server, basically. So let me do that again a little bit more slowly. I went to OpenAI and I did menu and then I did login instead of API. So I'm going to do a login. I'm already logged in, so it didn't ask me for my password and stuff like that, but it went to the right thing, which is platform.openai. So then over here, there's a little lock thing that's API keys. And these are all the API keys I've got already. So I'm going to make a new one. So you can have multiple ones. A good rule for these is to give it the name of the app that you're giving it to, or the person you're giving it to. This is my wife. She's got her own API key. And it's always inbound to make another one. So I guess that makes sense.
Does it cost money? Does it cost money to make API keys, or you can just make as many as you want?
Each API key is free to make.
Oh, Okay.
If somebody uses the API key, then you get billed for that use. So
That's
don't
why you
use
want to keep
this
it
one,
private.
but
Okay. Okay. Okay.
when I say create key, and if y'all copy this really fast and you know, went through 1 million tokens, I would get billed, not you. So this is important to read the first or second time or something like that. They're never going to show this to me again. They'll show you the front and the back of it, but they'll never show you this whole thing again. So you copy it, you paste it someplace safe, hopefully your password manager. These are a little bit lower value than a password. If you give it away and never, well, anyway, let me go over to Dollyfire. I think if I paste this, it will actually do the right thing. And the Dollyfire, by the way, if you end up using it, it's totally usable. It's just clunky the way the save doesn't work, and it doesn't even say that it doesn't work. It just kind of acts weird. The download image opens it in a new tab, or I guess in the same tab. A cool thing that I set it up to do is the next time you load this web page, Dollyfire. Now I wonder if this is true. It saves the API key in your browser. So that was extra fancy for me to do. I think I answered your question, Danielle, and I answered
You
about 10
did.
different questions you didn't ask.
No, you did great. Thank you so much, Pete.
So now let me show you that API key. I won't paste it in the chat necessarily, but let's look at it. This is what an API key looks like. Different vendors will look different. Because this one is now exposed, and I'm like, shoot, I don't want other people getting billed. You know, I don't want to get billed for more people's stuff. You can come to that API key, and now you know why I named it Dollyfire. I should have put the date here too. I like putting the dates. I can edit it. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you, OpenAI. Not all API key management things are, you know, they have different things. Anyway, I can set it to do different things. I can give it access to different smaller things, and so maybe I would give it to a friend where I let them do a particular thing, but not something else. More importantly, there's a garbage can here, so it's like, I don't want anybody to use it ever again. So now so now I've deleted it. Dollyfire is, and now I can put this in the chat. API key looks like this. If I go to Dollyfire and say generate image, it gives me an error. And that's because the API key has been deleted. So there you go. We're at time, and I should go walk the dog. Let me say like another thing that we'll cover next time, which will probably be early in next week. HackMD. This big screen is hard to use, which is fine. Jenkofires, how to use them. Okay, so let's do this. Actually, let's do a couple more minutes than 2 minutes. Let's do 2 minutes here, and then like 1 minute to say bye and all that kind of stuff. The whole trick that we're using with other Jenkofires, not the Dollyfire, but Interleaver or Letterific. This one is awesome, by the way. I'm going to use this as random text here, not random text, arbitrary text. This Jenkofire, you give it some text, and then you'd say letterify, and you can see RANDOM, LETTER. These letters are still there, but it stuffed a random letter around each one. So around this, let's see, around, so the N in random has I and Z in front of it, or I guess another way to look at it is the A and N have I between it, and then the N and D have Z. This copy result to clipboard, go generate, at least in Midjourney, these are awesome. I was really pleased with, man, that one is scary. This is the style prompt thing. And I figured out if you go to the archive on your phone, probably this would be pretty easy to do. And actually it wouldn't be that easy to do. Style is super easy to do with the new alpha, the web alpha. So anyway, I go through like all my generated images and do style prompt, style prompt, style prompt. Sometimes I'll do style from one thing and move a few images up and do the prompt from another thing. But you get all kinds of amazing stuff that way. Style ref is the bomb on Midjourney. These are scary to me, but you kind of see where it came from. It just amped this up. And so Danielle, back to your sparkles. You get one thing that sparkles a little bit, and which was this one, and you can sparkle it up more. So this one is another, so this is a Jenkified prompt. This one is that old people, warmth of a hand resting against a shoulder or whatever, aged, whatever, and the raindrops. So Midjourney gives you a lot of sparkly things, but then you can do more cool stuff with it. Did we do this with this one? You have to watch with Midjourney, as I do this, you have to watch a little bit carefully that if you use style and prompt on an image that's already a style prompt thing, this was the style ref for that. So I'm gonna delete this one. You can leave it, but it doesn't, you leave it and see what happens. It doesn't help that much. So this is that sparkle hand, I think, style, and then the same prompt. Boy, point somebody to an image generator and they get lost, right? What I was trying to say was, now to find the HackMD thing again. The whole trick with these Jenkifiers is they work on what's called text strings, and that's what a programmer would call it, a text string. So text just means letters, right? A string means a string of letters together. So I came up with a couple different metaphors for this, and we'll talk about this next time. But we're kind of used to, especially with ChatGPT, if I give this to ChatGPT, it actually understands what I mean here. And even if I mix it up, even it turns out if I turn the letters around, it still gets what I mean. It understands the words kind of like a human does, not like a human, but kind of like a human does. Before ChatGPT, computers are really stupid, and it thinks of this. It doesn't see the words here. It doesn't know what any of these mean. All it knows is that it's got a thing called a letter and that there's more than one letter. So it's kind of like if you have kids blocks with a letter blocks, that's what a computer thinks a string is. It's just a bunch of letter blocks. I had some other cool, another way to think of it is if you're taking a test or filling in a DMV form or something like that, it's got the little boxes or your tax return. It's got those little boxes for letters. That's the way a computer thinks of something like this, right? Or something like this. It's kind of weird that we're talking about letters and their letters. 7 years. So with the Jankifier, we had some trouble. I thought it was really obvious that that was the case. And we had some trouble trying to figure out what kind of Jankifiers to make because I kept saying, well, how would it take the prompt to make it weird, you know? And it turns out that you can't, it won't make it weird by like making it into a rhyme. It doesn't have any language skills unless it's a GPT or something like that. All it has is character skills. Character is another name for each of the blocks, right? So the ones we came up with take advantage of that. Fourscore and 7 years ago, this was the one, insert commas randomly between every 2 to 4 words. So that's a boring one. It'll only put one. I guess this is a boring text because it doesn't have very much in it. So it jumbles some commas. This turned out to be not very useful. The essifier adds an S after every word. And we learned last year that last week that you can drag these out. So S's at the end of each word are kind of boring. So, so this is where if Danielle were doing this and she had her notepad, she would open the text of the essifier thing. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do view page source. So this is what it looks like in your notepad. And you don't even like, you just kind of like blur your eyes and like, okay, I don't know. You look between the two script things. This is where the computer code is. It turns out this is what you want to find. There's a place where it's doing a bunch of gobbledygook, which I don't even know what it means, and a bunch of gobbledygook, which I don't even know what it means. But this plus S plus, maybe this is good. So you can, if this was in TextEdit, you can type ES here or ZZZ or whatever you want. And then just try it. It may work, it may not. If you mess up the wrong thing here, especially computers are really stupid, remember? So if you like, especially like a comma in the wrong place or one of these in the wrong place would like completely break the whole thing. Let's try that real quick because that sounds like fun. So if you're looking at somebody else's Jankifier, you can just do file save page as essifier. I'm going to do that trick where I do the footsie thing, HTML, text, HTML. Load this in TextEdit. Let's say I kind of understand this and kind of don't. I'm going to put ZZZ here, but I'm going to make a mistake and put an extra plus or something. That's enough to screw it up. Maybe I made a mistake and deleted that or something, right? So this is like a big no-no for computer programmers. It's like, oh my gosh, please don't mess up code. But check it out. I'm going to change the name of this, and I'm going to change this even something like that. I guess there's another thing here. You can change the titles of stuff. I'm going to call this dash hack because it's a hack. And then do the footsie thing, text HTML. I hope that's not triggering for anybody, the footsie thing. Because I keep saying it. Maybe we'll change the name of it. So now what happens if I do my essifier thing here? Nothing. Well, that sucks. Really? Really? It's broken. So note what happened. My computer didn't melt. Chrome didn't burst into flames. Nothing happened, right? It turns out, and we'll save this, we'll explain this. I guess we'll explain this next time, but there's a magic way. I'm going to do view developer JavaScript console. And you can actually look what the error was. And I think we can get a better job of seeing that in the code even, but we'll do that next time. So this is why Chrome didn't do anything, because I put, I junked up the thing, I broke it. But feel free in your Jankifier or somebody else's Jankifier that you've downloaded and it says open source, feel free to muck with it and try to make it better. Um, and you know, so that's what I did, by the way, to get this Essifier turned out to be a bust, but we went like full bore and did this ES thing. I don't need to put S's. This turned out to be a lot of fun, this one. And it was, all we did was edit, you know, edit file, add an E where there was an S before. And so then you get cool stuff. So what do you think, Danielle? Are you going to play with, you're going to make your own now, or are you going to wait for the next session and we'll get a little bit more steady, firm ground under our feet?
I think oh, that looks cool.
It didn't, the Essifier, ES Essifier didn't do much in Dolly.
I may try. I think I'll try. I tried to write notes the best I could because I was doing it, but I couldn't do both at the same time. But I will try. I just wrote down the whole .html thing because I forgot to write that part down. So I could try. But
Cool.
yeah, I have one now, yay, and I saved it.
At some point, I will kind of like have a condensed instruction thing, just a video by itself. I don't quite have that yet, obviously, but I probably won't have that within a week or so anyway, but someday it'll all be condensed. I can also write up instructions that might be quicker.
Thank you for everything, Pete. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it and your time and patience with
Yeah, you're
me.
welcome. Thanks for
Everyone.
your adventurousness, and willing to learn new stuff.
Pete, I
Willing
made
to.
3. Where can I send them to you?
Put them in the
Jankifiers?
chat. Are you gonna put them in the chat for us, Vicky?
I'm on my other computer, so I
Can
can't.
can I add you to the AI 101 repo?
Yeah, that'd work. I made one that pulls 2 sentences from Wikipedia, 2 random
Yeah,
sentences, random article. That's
I've been
inspired.
meaning to do
That's
that one.
smart.
I'm glad somebody did.
And then they're going to need cleaning up if they're going to be for public consumption. Then I made one that adds outrageous adjectives to a paragraph.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that part.
And I made one that turns random words into numbers in a paragraph.
Sweet.
I've been taking some of your ideas and blending them together, like getting random prompts from Wikipedia, and then
Nice.
and putting it in the number scrambler or the letter scrambler,
Yeah.
and getting some good results. So that's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Thanks for sharing that.
You have to make that Jankifier, Scott. Yeah, Paul, sorry.
Make a combined one. Oh, sure.
Yeah, you have to make the Jankifier.
Okay, I feel like
yeah,
sorry.
not chance, but I'll try.
I feel like the most naive one here about this, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking everyone's time.
Not at all.
Oh, it was helpful.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
have
so,
a
Danny.
question, someone else does as well, guaranteed.
And we got it also on the recording for other people too. So it's brilliant.
Well, hopefully I can do what Vicky was just saying right now, and being able to do the whole the one where you
take something from Wikipedia.
Well, yeah, I want to be able to do that stuff too. That's really,
let's do it.
Really awesome.
We'll get there.
Okay, next time, no, whenever you're gonna do it again, I'll be there.
Next time, I'll cover Jankifiers again next time. And I totally forgot, Joy had a question about about her thing, and we totally missed it. I thought this would be quicker. I should have known better. But thanks, Joy, for being patient. I'll try to set up one like early the first half of next week. And Vicky, real quick while we're on the call, did you happen to put like a license and who it's from and all that kind of stuff yet, or it's just
I did, and I also put an attribution for you.
awesome? Thank you. And you'll send me your GitHub handle,
Oh,
or you want to
yeah.
just tell me real
Just
quick,
Vicky.
or
It's Vicky B, VIKKIB.
IB? Okay. Great. I'll add you to the repo and then just check them
Thank
in.
you.
Cool. Anything else? Thanks so much, folks, for sticking through. We're getting somewhere.
Thanks, Pete. Happy birthday,
Thanks,
Daniel,
Pete.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh,
happy
thank
birthday,
you, you
Daniel.
guys. It's tomorrow, but thank you.
Happy birthday. That's great.
Thanks. This was really helpful, Pete. Thanks again.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
welcome.
Thanks, Joy.
Thanks,
We'll see
Pete.
y'all around. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.